I, 56F, have been a single mother to my daughter Olivia, 28F, since she was born. Her father, Mark, passed away from a sudden aneurysm when I was 7 months pregnant. We had been high school sweethearts, married right after college, and were so excited to start our family. Losing Mark was devastating, but Olivia became my reason for living. I've worked as a high school English teacher for the past 30 years. It wasn't always easy balancing work and single motherhood, but I made it work. We lived in a modest 3-bedroom house in a nice suburban neighborhood. It wasn't fancy, but it was filled with love and memories. Olivia was always a bright, curious child. She loved reading, and we'd spend hours curled up on the couch with books. As she got older, we'd have deep discussions about literature and life. I still remember how proud I was when she won the state spelling bee in 8th grade. Things weren't always perfect between us. Olivia went through a rebellious phase in high school, sneaking out, experimenting with alcohol. We butted heads a lot during those years, but we always managed to work through it and come out stronger on the other side. Olivia did well in school and got a scholarship to attend the state university. She majored in marketing and landed a good job at an advertising firm after graduation. I was so proud of all she had accomplished. About a year ago, Olivia started dating a man named Ryan, 30M. They met through mutual friends at a charity gala. From the beginning, I could tell Ryan came from a very different world than us. His parents owned a large real estate development company and lived in a gated community. Ryan had gone to private schools his whole life and drove a sports car that probably cost more than our house. The first time I met Ryan, he seemed polite enough, but I noticed little comments he would make, asking if our neighborhood was safe, or remarking on how quaint our house was. It rubbed me the wrong way, but I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt for Olivia's sake. As their relationship progressed, I started noticing changes in Olivia. She became embarrassed to bring Ryan to our house, making excuses about why they couldn't come over for dinner. She started dressing differently, wearing designer clothes and carrying expensive handbags I knew she couldn't afford on her salary. When I asked about it, Olivia said they were gifts from Ryan. I tried to talk to her about not losing herself in the relationship, but she got defensive and accused me of being jealous and stuck in the past. Things really changed after Olivia and Ryan got engaged 6 months ago. They had a lavish engagement party at Ryan's parents' mansion. I felt so out of place there in my nicest dress from Macy's, while everyone else wore couture. Olivia barely spoke to me the whole night and introduced me to people simply as my mom, rather than by name. After that, Olivia became even more distant. She rarely returned my calls or texts. When we did talk, it was always about wedding planning and how stressed she was. I offered to help however I could, but she always brushed me off saying I wouldn't understand their vision. 2 weeks ago, Olivia came to my house in tears. She told me they were having issues with their wedding venue. Apparently, the historic mansion they wanted to use had pulled out at the last minute due to a scheduling conflict. Olivia was distraught because invitations had already gone out with that location printed on them. I remembered that one of my former students, Jessica, now worked as an event coordinator at a beautiful vineyard just outside the city. Jessica had been one of my favorite students, bright, hardworking, and kind. We had kept in loose touch over the years through social media. I offered to reach out to Jessica and see if the vineyard had any availability. Olivia perked up immediately and hugged me, saying I was a lifesaver. I was. And Ryan had fought about it, and he was blaming her for ruining everything. I invited her in, and we had a long, emotional talk. Olivia broke down and admitted that she'd been feeling immense pressure from Ryan and his family to have this perfect wedding. She said Ryan's mother had been making passive-aggressive comments about Olivia's background and how she hoped the wedding would be classy enough for their social circle. Olivia confessed that she'd been so afraid of disappointing them that she'd started pushing me away, thinking it would somehow make her fit in better with Ryan's world. She said she felt like she was constantly walking on eggshells, worried that her common upbringing would show through. I told Olivia how deeply her actions had hurt me. How, after all we'd been through together, I couldn't believe she would be ashamed of me or our life. I reminded her of all the happy memories we'd shared in our quaint little house, movie nights cuddled on the couch, baking cookies together in the kitchen, the graduation party we threw in the backyard when she finished college. Olivia cried and apologized over and over. She said she'd lost sight of what really mattered and that she wanted to call the whole wedding off. I was shocked. I asked her if she was sure that's what she wanted. Olivia hesitated, then said she loved Ryan but wasn't sure anymore if he loved her for who she really was. She said ever since they got engaged, she felt like she was playing a role to fit into his life rather than being herself. We talked for hours, rehashing old memories and reconnecting in a way we hadn't in years. Olivia told me how much she missed our Sunday morning pancake tradition and our annual mother-daughter spa days. She said she felt like she'd been living in a bubble with Ryan and his family, and she was starting to suffocate. By the end of our talk, Olivia had decided she needed to have a serious conversation with Ryan about their relationship in the future. She said regardless of what happened with the wedding, she wanted to repair things between us. The next day, Olivia called to tell me she'd spoken to Ryan. Apparently, it didn't go well. Ryan got angry when Olivia suggested postponing the wedding, accusing her of getting cold feet and embarrassing him in front of his family. When Olivia brought up how she felt pressured to change who she was, Ryan dismissed her concerns and said she should be grateful for the lifestyle he could provide her. Olivia said hearing Ryan talk that way made her realize this wasn't the man she wanted to marry. She told him the wedding was off and returned his ring. She said Ryan's reaction, cursing at her and threatening to make her pay him back for all the money spent on wedding preparations, only confirmed she'd made the right choice. I'm proud of Olivia for standing up for herself, but my heart breaks for her too. She's understandably devastated about the end of her relationship. She asked if she could move back home for a while to regroup, and I of course said yes. We're taking things day by day right now. Olivia is still processing everything that's happened. She's been alternating between crying jags and periods of angry ranting about Ryan and his family. I'm trying to be supportive without overstepping. We've started seeing a family therapist together to work through some of the issues in our relationship. It's bringing up a lot of old hurts on both sides, but I think it's necessary for us to move forward. Olivia has also started individual therapy to work through her feelings about the broken engagement. She's realized that she lost a lot of herself in her relationship with Ryan, and she wants to reconnect with who she really is. It's not all doom and gloom, though. We've started having our Sunday pancake breakfasts again. Last weekend, we even pulled out the old photo albums and spent hours looking through them, laughing at old hairstyles and reminiscing about family vacations. There's still a long road ahead of us, but I'm cautiously optimistic that we can rebuild the close bond we once had. Thank you again to everyone who offered advice and support. I'll post another update once things have settled down a bit more. Update 2. It's been about a month since my last update. Olivia has been living with me again, and things between us are slowly improving. We've had some difficult but necessary conversations about our relationship and how we can communicate better going forward. Olivia is still dealing with the fallout from calling off her engagement. Ryan's family has been spreading nasty rumors about her in their social circle, claiming she used Ryan for his money and then got cold feet. It's been hard for Olivia to hear these lies, but she says she's relieved not to be marrying into such a toxic family. We had a bit of drama last week when Ryan showed up at our house unannounced, clearly drunk. He started yelling at Olivia, demanding she take him back and accusing her of ruining his life. I called the police and they escorted him off our property. Olivia was shaken up but said the incident only reinforced that she'd made the right decision in ending things. After the incident with Ryan, Olivia decided to take a leave of absence from her job. She said being at the advertising firm reminded her too much of the person she was trying to be with Ryan. She's been using this time to really focus on herself and figure out what she wants from life. One positive development is that Olivia has reconnected with some old friends she'd drifted apart from while dating Ryan. Her best friend from college, Sarah, has been coming over regularly. It's been nice to see Olivia laughing and enjoying herself again. Olivia has also started volunteering at a local animal shelter. She's always loved animals, but Ryan was allergic, so she couldn't have pets while living with him. Now she spends several days a week walking dogs and socializing cats. She says it's been therapeutic for her and is giving her a sense of purpose during this difficult time. We've continued with our family therapy sessions. It hasn't always been easy. We've had to confront some painful truths about our relationship. Olivia admitted that she's always felt some resentment towards me for working so much when she was young, even though she knows logically that I had to in order to support us. I've had to acknowledge that I sometimes pushed Olivia too hard academically because I wanted her to have opportunities I never did. But we're working through these issues. Our therapist has given us tools to communicate better and set healthy boundaries. We're learning to really listen to each other instead of getting defensive. One particularly emotional session centered around Olivia's father. She admitted that part of why she was so drawn to Ryan's family was because she was trying to fill the void of never having known her dad. We cried together as I shared stories about Mark and how much he would have loved Olivia. It was painful but cathartic. As for me, I'm trying to find the balance between being there for Olivia and maintaining healthy boundaries. It's been an adjustment having her back home, but overall I'm just grateful to have my daughter back. The real Olivia, not the person she was pretending to be with Ryan. I've started focusing more on my own interests, too. I joined a book club and have been taking weekend painting classes. It's nice to have something that's just for me. Olivia and I have started a new tradition of cooking dinner together a few nights a week. Sometimes we try new recipes, other times we make old family favorites. It's been a nice way for us to bond and create new memories. We still have a long way to go, but I'm hopeful for our future. Olivia talks about maybe going back to school to become a veterinarian. I can see a spark in her eyes when she talks about it that I haven't seen in years. For now, we're taking things one day at a time. Some days are better than others, but we're facing the challenges together, and that's what matters most. Thank you all again for your support throughout this journey. It's meant more than you know.